In a bustling high-end restaurant, a wealthy businessman enters, exuding arrogance with every step. His designer suit and smug expression instantly turn heads. Among the staff is a hard-working waitress, her warm smile masking the challenges she faces daily. When the man orders, his condescending tone fills the room, making everyone uneasy. But it's not until he mockingly questions her dreams and dismisses her as just a waitress that the tension peaks. Trying to brush it off, she reveals she's a musician, only for him to laugh and challenge her to prove it. Hesitant but determined, she steps up to the grand piano in the corner. As her fingers touch the keys, the room falls silent, and a breathtaking melody emerges, captivating everyone, including the rich man. What happens next turns the tables on arrogance and changes everything. Stay tuned for this inspiring story of unexpected talent and redemption. The rich man leans back in his chair, arms crossed, a smirk playing on his lips as the waitress begins to play. But as the first notes echo through the room, his expression shifts. The melody is unlike anything anyone expected, gentle, yet powerful, each note telling a story of resilience and hope. The restaurant staff pause mid-task, and even the diners put down their forks, drawn into the music. Behind the piano, the waitress seems transformed, her usual shy demeanor replaced with confidence. Her hands glide effortlessly over the keys, revealing a talent that could rival the greatest performers. The rich man watches, his arrogance momentarily replaced by something else: confusion, maybe even regret. Whispers spread among the diners. Who is she? How does someone so talented end up here? But the waitress keeps playing, pouring her heart into every note, as if proving to herself and the world that she belongs. As the waitress's performance fills the restaurant, memories begin to surface for some of the diners. One older couple exchanges glances, quietly recalling a concert they once attended where a young pianist played with the same raw emotion. Could it be her? Meanwhile, a young aspiring musician sitting near the back is captivated, clutching a napkin where she had scribbled down her own piano dreams. The rich man shifts uncomfortably in his seat, his smirk now gone. He catches the eye of his business associate across the table, who raises an eyebrow as if to say, "You underestimated her, asterisk," but the waitress doesn't look up. She plays as if the piano is her escape, a voice for emotions she's never spoken aloud. The restaurant's manager, watching from the kitchen doorway, seems uneasy. It's clear he knows more about her story than anyone else. But why had she hidden this talent? And why here? Yes, the final notes of the song fade. The restaurant erupts into applause, some even rising to their feet. The waitress, breathless, glances up and seems almost surprised by the reaction. The rich man stares at her, the usual confidence in his eyes replaced with something unfamiliar, disbelief, maybe even humility. Still, his pride won't let him speak. Instead, he leans toward his associate and mutters something under his breath. But the moment isn't over. From the back of the room, the young aspiring musician approaches, her voice trembling as she asks the waitress how she learned to play like that. The waitress smiles, but her response is cut short when the manager steps forward, his face a mix of concern and determination. "Enough," he says firmly. She doesn't owe anyone an explanation. His words hang in the air, adding another layer of mystery. Why is he protecting her? What's her story? The restaurant falls silent as everyone's attention shifts to the manager. His protective tone catches even the waitress off guard. The rich man raises an eyebrow, intrigued by this unexpected turn. "Doesn't owe an explanation," he says, his voice sharp. "Everyone here just witnessed something extraordinary. Surely, there's more to this than meets the eye." The waitress glances at the manager, unsure whether to speak, but he gives her a slight nod. Taking a deep breath, she begins to share a small part of her story. "I grew up playing the piano," she says softly. "It was everything to me, but life doesn't always go the way you plan." Before she can continue, a man at another table suddenly speaks up. "Wait, I recognized you. You're the girl who performed at the state finals years ago, aren't you? His words send ripples of shock through the room, raising more. The waitress hesitates, the weight of her past suddenly laid bare before the room. Yes, she admits quietly, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. That was me. Music was my world, but after my mom fell sick, I had to step away. Bills don't pay themselves, and dreams don't always put food on the table. Her words hang in the air, raw and honest, silencing even the rich man. For a moment, the room is still. Then, the rich man surprises everyone by standing. I misjudged you, he says, his voice devoid of its earlier arrogance. That was remarkable, and you shouldn't be here wasting this gift. His tone suggests sincerity, but his expression reveals lingering pride, as though he's searching for a way to redeem himself. Before anyone can respond, the restaurant's manager steps forward, placing a hand on the piano. There's something you all should know, he says. She wasn't just talented, she was one of the youngest prodigies in the state. She gave up everything for her family. But just as the applause begins to ripple again, the waitress interrupts. Thank you, she says, smiling softly. But this is where I'm meant to be for now. The rich man, visibly humbled, nods, realizing talent is more than just success. It's about purpose. And with that, the waitress takes a bow, leaving everyone, especially him, with a lesson they'll never forget: questions. Why would someone with such talent walk away from a promising future? Ace, the waitress steps away from the piano. The room erupts into applause once more. Diners exchange smiles, inspired by the raw display of talent and resilience they've just witnessed. The rich man remains seated, lost in thought. For the first time in years, his confidence feels less like power and more like a facade. Before leaving, he walks up to the waitress, extending a business card. If you ever decide you're ready to share your gift with the world again, call me, he says, his tone earnest. She takes the card with a polite nod, but tucks it into her pocket without looking at it. As the night winds down, the young aspiring musician approaches the waitress, wide-eyed and hopeful. Will you teach me someday, she asks. The waitress smiles. Maybe, she says. But first, promise me you'll never let anyone stop you from dreaming. And with that, she returns to her work, carrying a quiet strength that no applause or arrogance could ever diminish.